All right, everybody, welcome back. It is another bowl prediction for us. It is a preview and prediction of the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. I'm your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com, joined by
Scot Reichel, free pick giver.
There you go.
I'm going to keep alternating the intro, so let's go.
Scott, this is the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. If you need your SRS distributed, now that's the company to do it for you. You have any idea what they do?
SRS. Scot Reichel Services?
I don't know. Yeah, is this Scot Reichel Services?
I don't know.
I'm guessing trucking of some sort. I don't know. We've got too many opt-outs to talk about in this game. This is the game that I've been dreading the whole time. This is the Florida Gators, who, let's face it, Scott, weren't all that good to start with.
No.
And now they're going to be without starting quarterback, starting wide receiver, your best offensive lineman.
In Florida's excuse, though, or on the other side of the coin, it is a tradition for half their team to opt out for bowl games.
It's kind of an SEC thing.
It really is. The games mean more,
I remember that LSU versus K-State game last year where
wasn't that the slogan? Like the games mean more?
Yes, I think it is.
I don't think any starters have played in a game since. That's not the playoff.
Just absolutely brutal. So, like I said, in Florida, they lost their last two games against Vanderbilt and Florida State. Good God.
Florida State game Florida State turned out to be a good team. The Vandy one was embarrassing.
Yeah, so they've got a little problem at quarterback, Scott. They've got a couple problems at quarterback. Number one, Anthony Richardson's not going to play. And they had a little problem with the backup. Scott, what was his problem?
So their backup, who just so happens to be John Kitna's son, got arrested and thrown off the team last week, 2 weeks ago, for child pornography charges. So he's no longer with the team. The only other player to attempt to pass this season was a running back. So you have a third string, basically a redshirt quarterback, transfer from Ohio State. So you don't know what you're going to get, box of chocolates quarterback there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and it's Jack Miller the third, like you said, Ohio State transfer. He was actually going to be the backup, and then he broke his thumb in preseason training camp.
You're assuming he has some talent. Ohio State liked them.
Yeah, well, that's it worked out okay for Joe Burrow. So I'm not saying he's going to be the next Joe Burrow, but I just don't see.
By the way, Oregon State's missing nobody.
Well, they're missing their starting cornerback and their starting tight end, but other than
that, you had a couple you had a transfer for their second quarterback, which doesn't really mean much to me.
Mm-hmm.
The starting corner does matter. Their tight end hasn't played since week 2, so that's not really a big deal. So yes, they are missing a corner, but they basically have everybody. Florida doesn't care. However, you mentioned it for the Washington State game. You're looking at the backups for Florida compared to the starters of Oregon State. Or backups at some positions for Florida. They still have a decent amount of starters in the game.
Right.
Is 10 too many points? Because it feels like it's too many points. I don't know if Miller's worth a damn, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because this has been a 7-point line move. This opened at Florida -3. Or excuse me, Oregon State -3, because you knew we were going to have some opt-outs.
Like, if you're comparing line moves, the Fresno move should have been significantly more than this game. In my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. This is the question is it's going to come down to, can Florida stop the run?
And can they move the ball offensively?
And what's Miller going to be like? And how is he going to be able to move against an Oregon State defense? This is an Oregon State defense, or this is an Oregon State team that's kind of sneaky good, Scott. They lost 3 games this year. They lost to USC by 3. They lost to Oregon State. They lost to Oregon by 4, and then they got whacked by Utah.
They beat Oregon. They came back and won.
That's right. They won. They ended up winning that game. I'm sorry.
That was that crazy comeback.
So they've
they lost to USC. They lost to Utah and Washington.
In Washington, sorry, I wrote down.
They lost to They lost to 3 of the top 4 teams in the conference, and they had the thrilling win against Oregon against the other good
best quarterback. 2 of the best quarterbacks in the nation in Penix and Williams. So they're 10-2 against the number. They've had double-digit spreads 3 times this season. They've covered them all. So the question is this a true double-digit spread, or has it been inflated? by overreaction to the transfer portal for opt-outs, injuries, and transfer portal and child pornography charges. So your official play is you're going to play Florida here?
I think I would have taken Oregon State, but I think that ship has sailed. You crossed a couple key numbers there. I would have loved to have gotten there.
Crossed them all.
You crossed them all.
All the key numbers.
You crossed them all. Like, I would have loved to have gotten 10. 10 still available, I guess, but I see some 10.5s. Oh, boy. Like, Oregon State's been a very underrated team all season long. Do you think Florida cares at all, the guys that actually show up for this game?
No, I don't. I don't think they give one shit. I think they're going to be excited about being in Vegas. These guys are going to be staying up late at night. No. That's, and I hate, and we'll talk about it on these videos, and I guarantee you, I'll say it. It's going to go exactly against what I'm about to do. Chasing a line move like that of 7 points is fucking ridiculous. You should never do it as a handicapper. It's a way to lose money.
I think I'll take Oregon State first half.
Okay. I don't see any other way to play it. That's just a pussy play. What are their first half numbers? Are they an outstanding first half team? Do you actually have something to back this up? Or you can't let yourself lay 10 points?
It's mostly based on the fact that I do think with Miller being a former Ohio State recruit, he has talent. It might just take him some time to get going. But Florida, missing Richardson, I think he's going to have to reinvent the offense briefly. Maybe they'll figure it out and athleticism takes over as the game progresses. But I think to at least start the game, I think Oregon State's going to be fully focused, and I think Florida's going to be kind of just stuck in no man's land for at least the first 15 minutes and change. So I think if you're getting right now below 7, it's roughly 6 in the first half for Oregon State. I think it's a good number. I'll take Oregon State first half. I went into this game leaning Florida, but then I looked at Oregon State's actual games in the regular season. They have 3 quality losses, and they've beaten every other team that they should beat, which is good enough for me.
Yeah.
I think we're in agreement here on Oregon State, but that 10.5 really does not sit well with me. First half, though, you can get 4.5 right now on BetMGM. Okay. It's 6 at every other book. You can get 4.5 in BetMGM. I think that's an auto play.
Yeah, if
you're saving a 1.5 minimum, I gotta play that.
Below half the spread, that's playable.
I'll bet that right now. Actually, I'll pull up my phone and I'll bet that right now because that's just a hell of a deal. It's a full game spread of 10.5. I can get first half 4.5. That's an auto play.
It is an auto play. You're absolutely right. All right, so we're both on Oregon State here. It's just a simple matter of a team that just has down to the bones as far as their talent goes. And we both have questions about their motivation, how happy they are, and how anxious they will be to play this game. I'll take Oregon State full game. I'll chase the 7 points. I don't give a shit every key number. But and Scott's taking the first half, so that's going to do it for the
in the game, though.
Lean over.
I'm going to lean over. I think Florida State. I think Florida's defense is a train wreck, and I do think that Florida can at some point move the ball. They still have good athletes. Okay. So I'll lean to the over. It's in the low 50s? It's like 52.5, 53.5.
I've got 53. Let's see if that's been.
Seems a little low. I mean, would it shock you if I told you Oregon State scores 35 points?
No.
Probably not. Shock me. I'll lean over.
Shock me if you told me Florida scored 21, though.
Okay.
All right. Very good. That's going to wrap it up for the SRS Distribution Bowl. We'll be right back with our hot take on the Frisco Bowl. Scott, Frisco Bowl played in?
Frisco, Texas.
There you go. Very good.
Let's go.
Kids, he's sharp. I can't trip him. All right. We'll be right back with the Frisco Bowl. You guys take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.